Hello everyone, Kurt over here, and welcome back to another episode from Hohlfeder Labs. Today we're going to be continuing on with the discussion we've been talking about in regards to approaching the lessons and the lines of the Segno. We're going to be looking at the first play of Abrazari and how we can get to some of the follow-on plays that you see immediately afterwards in different forms and fashions. And what I'm talking about here specifically is that overbind that you see where Fiore talks about coming over to break the arm or dislocate the shoulder, or to push into a type of grappling consideration here, which is also to like a throw. But before we get into other extravagant pieces of that process, I really just want to focus on how, on the first image, and how we may not just be looking at this hand that's on the outside, but we may be looking at the hand that's lower. And to do that today, I have my lovely assistant Vincent, and we're going to kick into it. So for today, I don't have the Segno line down here. We're going to be talking about movement in. But again, like I've said, I've taken it off the ground here for this right here, because I'm talking more about the upper body movements here. And, you know, again, when it comes down to entry, if you remember those lines that we have out, we're talking about what happens if someone's grabbing at you, if they're trying to hook around here, upwards. All these types of entries, which you might start seeing later on, are just lines of attack, which you see within the sword, within the dagger, etc. So for today, I'm going to be making this shape here with Vincent. And again, it's just me doing this here, so normally if I was doing this with somebody else, I could do a little more. But for today, we're going to establish the position that is seen within the manuscripts of where the man is here. And to see the picture, you have a person that's grabbing around, and one person's hand's right here, and the hand is low. And we already talked a little bit about entry positions into that, and how this may have been me trying to cover. I lost it, so I slipped to the other side here. It could be maybe he's grabbing me first, and I'm sitting down in Porta di Ferro, and I pop right up into utilizing Dente di Chingaro as a mechanic. This hand down here, even though it may or may not actually be on top of the hand or under the hand, that's me coming to a factor later on as far as what are we doing and how do we build into this. So again, the mechanism here is we were on the inside and we came to the outside, which gives us access to where I can break the arm over and torque, okay? But we're going to look at this how it may have happened another way, and how essentially when Fiore says we come to this position in many ways, it may not just be this, but it's the circumstances of working into this area here, and that doesn't necessarily matter, okay? So again, first portion of this we've covered in, and I've lost this. He's grabbed onto me, so I get to the other side here, which allows me to move. And you can already see how we're starting to use the Segno line here. By it's going straight in, I'm starting to come around this person to get leverage, okay? And by doing so here, I come up this way, and then we utilize that volta stabile of the feet to turn and play forward and back. I can utilize tutta volta to throw and break and do other horrible things. So that's the first portion of that, and kind of what we're seeing as an option. But let's take a look at from another angle and see how we can get to the same place by dealing with that lower hand that we're seeing here, okay? So in this consideration, now we have a hand we have that low hand. So imagine here that there's a hand that's coming up. I know this is what I got for right now, but there's a hand that's coming up here into this. This could be many things. And for the purpose of Abrazari, he may be saying that you're trying to stop this person's hand. This might be a knife hand coming up here if you start talking about fifth master dagger type concepts. But ultimately, there's something that's coming up this way. He's grabbed in. I'm coming around to this other side right here. In either way, I'm working to break, throw, wrap something on this target. People don't just go, break my arm. So the moment that we feel pressure in, this person is probably going to respond immediately. So as I'm dealing with this arm here, and they're starting to feel torque, There's another hand that might be coming up as a mechanism. They may be utilizing that Dente di Chingaro, which is what we may see in that picture, that low hand position. I'm not talking about the person performing anything. I'm talking about the guy who's not wearing the crown. So this hand right here is very much so a threat. He might be grabbing onto the back of my neck here and trying to push me over in a way that breaks my structure. So this hand right here could be many different reasons why it's in place. So to train this, one of the things that we start seeing, and we start drilling and training and whatnot, is that this hand right here also, if I use Dente di Chingaro, I work into, once again, the same kind of play of what we're dealing here. So imagine we have a hand up here like this, I have my hand here, I could coming over here and break it, my hand is here in this position here, but instead of just stopping this hand, I utilize this hand. I'm here, there's Dente di Chingaro. I'm utilizing that Mazzani line that we talked about with the Segno. We're utilizing a largo, wide step. And from this right here, I'm starting to shift over, up, and I'm back into that second play. So now, I wanted to demonstrate that first side here so you can see. So all I'm doing is I'm pushing my hand across. So I've been up here like this, I'm contending with this arm, and as this hand is going low on me, so I'm here, hand comes across, it's in this position, I'm utilizing Dente di Chingaro to come back over. Okay? And again, mind you, I'm utilizing the posta as definitively and direct as possible to kind of talk about how we may have to get to this position. So again, when we talk about shifting across, I'm dealing with a hand that's grabbed onto me here, and in this space, I'm on the outside of their leg. As they start to face this hand's coming over here to grab me. Now if I stop this right here, now I'm contending with a grapple. So instead, as they're coming up this way, I come across here, into it, and up. And now I'm in the same play that we see in the follow-on pictures. This also works, in my opinion, if the person bends the arm, which is one of the things where, in this case, we'll have this right here is simulating the leg. So the portion here that we're talking about is like, if this arm is bent, if the guy, instead of keeping his arm straight, because that's how we turn over, get into the lock. But in this case, the person bends the arm because they're savvy grappler. Or maybe they've come here and they're starting to retract in. We don't know. Okay, we come to this in many ways, and real kinetic fights it might be really fast and immediate there that turns into someone bringing you in, other things to the person there, they're trying to touch you, wherever the case may be, trying to strike in different areas, but it doesn't necessarily matter. So in this case right here, I've come over, but I'm simulating, I'm going a little bit deeper here, so now this doesn't work. And the play shows him coming across here and shooting into that, grabbing the leg, and going to posta longa. So I've come over the outside and I've grabbed the leg, pushing the face, and I'm using posta longa. I'm bringing myself up right back into that posture structure. So it's not just one, it is a over, here's Dente di Chingaro. I was going to go down to Porta di Ferro. They bend the arm. I'm going into posta longa. So here, outside, arm is bent. I don't have the break anymore. So I shoot for the face and grab the leg. And that works just as much. They've grabbed me here in as much as it does if I came over here. And once again, he's grabbed me, I'm coming here, but he starts to grab his other hand. Now I'm here, he bends the arm, and I shoot right into that throw in or grapple. So that's just how we find ourselves in the first couple of plays on both sides potentially, depending on what our opponent's doing and being able to play off of different arms. So that concludes this video here. And again, this is just, again, looking at the first couple of plays. Because one of the things that I believe is happening in this manual is that, I call it before like their PowerPoint notes. And anyone who's ever had to do a presentation to whether at a company or a job or whether you're in the military, you have to brief somebody, you have a note on the board that you're trying to like teach, the images that may be there is to convey a meaning that's deeper than just that one meaning. And I believe that's what's happening here with a lot of the images of the Getty. Okay, so, or not just the Getty, but Fiore's work. And for that matter, any work within a historical treatise, because there's a lot more to entail with this. So again, looking at this, we're just looking at how we can approach and get to that same kind of arm lock or throw right off the get-go, based upon how the person is set up here. Maybe they're going low on us, whatever the case may be. We don't know. We don't know where they're at. And that kind of thing is important for us to kind of observe. So we can approach that by continuing with the upper hand and coming around, or as they come low, bringing the hand around and going over with this. And again, these are just utilizing the posta and the mechanics we talked about before regarding Fiore's Arbitrazzi, footwork, and turn work. So that's going to do it for today's video. Again, please, if you've enjoyed this content, please consider liking and subscribing. Share with a friend. And if you have any thoughts out there as far as what's going on here, like if this is something that's new to you and you've never seen this before here, or if you've seen this before here, or maybe I'm missing something, maybe there's something I'm not seeing here, please leave a comment or make a video and share it with me. I'd love to see what people's thoughts and interpretations are here. But again, this right here is much more about how do we get and work into that space to get towards somebody, okay? And like I said, about anything that has out there, like as far as thoughts and ideas, please share them this way here. I'm open to hearing your thoughts. So as always, everybody, until the next video, be safe, train well, and fight on. I'll see you all soon.